this may be anti-Semitic. Make it make sense. Shadow Education Minister Julian Leeser joins me now. Julian, first off, your response to that disturbing story.
Well, it is a very disturbing story, Carolyn, particularly after what we've seen with the rise of anti-Semitism in the last few years, culminating in the murder of 15 Australians at Bondi. This is a time where people need to learn more about anti-Semitism and the Holocaust. But I think more broadly, Holocaust education needs a rethink. It needs a rethink because the anti-Semitism that led to the Holocaust is ultimately based on a range of conspiracy theories, lies about manipulation and people controlling power. It's the reason why so many social justice activists of the left engage in anti-Semitic things, because it's almost seen as a virtuous idea to be anti-Semitic. What I think we need to do with our education system is to ensure that Australians learn about who are the Jews and what do they stand for, what do they believe. Jewish people have introduced wonderful ideas into Western civilisation, like equality, like the rule of law, like human dignity. It's in the interests of all Australians that more people know about that contribution to our civilisation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I agree with you. There needs to be a rethink, although teaching a classic book like The Diary of Anne Frank about a little girl having to hide from Nazis, the fact that teachers don't want to teach that because they think that some kids might be so anti-Jewish that they can't stomach that book. I mean...
Well, it says that there's a sickness in our education system and a sickness in our society. And what is worse is when teachers won't take the leadership that is necessary to educate their own students. If people are not getting an education about anti-Semitism and about the contribution of Jews to the wonderful country that we have and the wonderful civilisation we have at a school, when are they ever going to change their mind about these things? When are we ever going to become a stronger and more cohesive country? So I'm very disappointed to hear these reports that teachers in my state, in New South Wales, are failing to deal with classic texts which have such an important moral lesson for our world.
Yeah, me too. Well, hopefully the Royal Commission can make some recommendations, or maybe they'll come from elsewhere, like yourself. Let's talk about former Prime Minister turned federal president of the Liberal Party, Tony Abbott. He's now personally calling Liberal members to try and stop defections to One Nation. The personal pleas come after members in Gilmore and Curl quit, saying the party has lost its way and no longer represents conservative values. Julian, what do you think of these defections, and do you think that Tony Abbott will be able to stem some of this hemorrhaging we're seeing to One Nation?
Well, Tony Abbott's my friend, and he's doing a great job as the party president, and his job is to build a big political organisation so we can fight the next election. What I think all of this says is that people are angry, and I share that anger, and they're angry at how bad this government has handled Australia. I mean, they've lost control of the economy and they've lost control of our borders. And I'll tell you what the Liberal Party is about. We believe Australia deserves strong borders, and we believe Australians should make money. Now, some of them are going to One Nation. One Nation's talked a bit about radical Islam. Let me say that we will take on anyone in the parliament on radical Islam, because we were the party that called for the listing of the IRGC. We were the party that called for diplomatic relations with the Iranian regime to be severed. We were the party that went to Bondi day after day. That's the difference between us and One Nation.
Well, I don't think anyone can accuse you, Julian Leeser, of not being strong on radical Islam and for standing up against Jew hatred and some of the other hatreds that come from that strain of Islam. But do you think the defections do show that the Liberal Party has drifted too far from its conservative base?
Well, people come in and out of political parties all the time. Let me tell you what's happening in my part of Sydney. I'm actually seeing new people join our party because they hate what Labor is doing to the country. They are against Labor's terrible budget, and they're for what we're trying to do by putting an end to bracket creep. Because, as I say, we want strong borders and we want Australians to make money. That's what we're about, and that's an attractive message for all Australians.
Meanwhile, Labor is defending its planned hit to negative gearing and capital gains tax, even as auction clearance rates across the capitals crash. Sydney is at its lowest since April 2020. Is Labor seriously trying to sell a housing slump as an affordability win, Julian?
I mean, this is a joke. Labor has taken a baseball bat to confidence. That's what low clearance rates indicate. And what they indicate is that no one likes Labor's taxes. They're creating great uncertainty because they're radical taxes They're bad taxes and they're the taxes Labor promised they would not bring in. By contrast, our plan is to reduce red tape, to reduce migration and to reduce government spending to put downward pressure on inflation. That's how you get young people into homes.
Julian Leeser, thank you very much for your time tonight. We do appreciate